Hi and welcome back. As always, I'd like to thank the new subscribers for joining the channel. I hope you've learned something or can share any advice, tips, or whatever, or monkey tools. And my monkey tool is not exactly what you'd say is for making rivets or anything. My monkey tool is a tool that was designed for one job, modified to do another, that it was never intended to do. Start with something that's wrong, but you can make it right. It's the series of need a tool, make a tool, you know, so everybody does it. That's what a blacksmith does. He makes all the tools for all the other crafts usually. And not aerospace. I'm sure that they do have a blacksmith on hand for some things. Because metallurgy, yeah, is part of their skill set, so they might be able to do something with them. I've never asked, but it stands to reason, since they're dealing with titanium and other weird alloys, that they might have somebody with a little blacksmith experience working for them. Sound like a good job for somebody. Anyway, today is day 2 on sanding knives. This is my harpoon point 1084, I believe it is 1084, 1080 or 1084. Maker's mark there's a little. I've sanded it. Dang it. Anyway, it's right there. It's the DBK with a little bone under it. That's what I tried to do there, and I decided to put it on there like that. Now this side's sanded about as far as I'm going to go. This side over here needs a little bit more, and then it'll take a bath in the ferric chloride once I get all this done. So this is the 80 CRV 2 knife. It's a little dusty. You can see the temper line on it good. It just don't hum on. That was kind of a disappointing letdown to me. So right there, it's got to be sharpened. I mean, it's sharp or decently sharp. I don't know. This is after coming out of the ferric chloride. I've not touched it with anything on the edge. And I oiled it, keep it from rusting. This stuff likes to rust real quick. This 80 CRV does. But anyway, there's hire on it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but like I said, it's not had nothing done to it. It's not touched it. It's black all the way down to the edge. So it won't take much to sharpen it. So got to do a little work on this. The point is a little rounded up here, so I can come back here and just kind of ease it up a little bit and take a little bit off the top. Try to split the difference, not mess up the geometry too awful bad. And on a long sweeping cut for the end of this. I don't know why, but this will probably never be used for anything except chopping brush around camp or splitting kindling, or I don't know, self-defense, or just to have. It's a nice knife, and like I said, I sprayed it down, put PB Blaster on it. That's PB Blaster oil. It's a multi-purpose lubricant. It's a little thing I run across it several years ago back, probably 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Back at Home Depot was having a sale on it. $4.99 for a can, for a big can of just regular PB Blaster, and that can was taped to it, because it in the cellophane it's been shrunk crap together. So you was getting 2 for $4.99, $5, something like that. And it's less than 6 anyway. So I think I bought 7 or 8 of them, and they kind of had a giggle at me getting so many. But I had got buddies that do that race, got dirt track cars, so I give it to them. That's what I got it for, and I kept a couple. So there, standing up right there, just right into the wood. So anyway, I've got to sand some more on this other side over here. Quite a bit. This red clay, Georgia red clay, don't work as good as the regular refractory cement about harmooning or protecting the metal. I mean, it makes it dead soft. No, there's no question about that. But when it bubbles, it makes pits in the metal. And I forgot about that. That's the reason I quit using it. It's making pits in there. So these are about the only knives that I've done with that. And I've got a box of Satanite in the mailbox. I need to walk down there and get it. I just dread to climb back. I don't know. It's only about, from here, it's only about 600 feet to the mailbox. And it's downhill. Well, it's flat and downhill to it. But it's all uphill till you get to the flat coming back. It's a pretty good hill. It's hard to get, once it comes up, it makes that left-hand turn there. That's usually where you stop in the wintertime if it's iced up, snow on it or whatever. Because that area right over there in the north side stays cold and froze up for a while. And so anyway, I thought I'd just jump back in today and let you know that I have another one that I'm working on, and I posted pictures on Instagram for the other one over there and asked the question: faux ivory, a wrought iron guard, or brass and wood handle, or wrought iron and wood. I've got some nice wood that I could use. I've got a couple of chunks there. Let's see. I got it over here, and I got some of Mr. J.T. Barrett's pins in here. That it's a nice piece of lumber. That may not be long enough without a spacer in there. Good guard in the palm of that. What else do I have in here? Oh yeah. This is East Indian rosewood. Now, that would be all right. I just, like I said, I just have to make a spacer, and I would probably do that out of bone. Yeah, I could do that with bone. East Indian rosewood. That ought to be pretty. I got this from Bell Forest. Yes, Bell Forest. They sell these blanks and everything. That's a good sized chunk of timber right there. It's about 4.5 inches long or so. Let me find a tape measure. And we'll see. Not real quick. There it is. I lost one of these rotors somewhere between here and my granddaughter's house, I guess. And instead of finding it, it was just cheaper to go ahead and buy another one of these 12-inch rotors, stamped and marked good, and it's flexible stainless steel. It's pretty good. That is 4 1/8 or 104 millimeters for those that's metrically handicapped like I am. I know what it is, I just don't know how to, just don't use it enough. I always done the standard imperial measurement. Except when I worked in the rubber manufacturing plants around home here and down the road a long ways, the next big city, or not the next big city, the second big city of Jasper, and marble capital of the world. So that's where Georgia Marble's headquarters and stuff is. The only place in the world you can get pink marble, yeah, as far as we know. I never worked for them, but I worked for a rubber plant. We done everything in thousands, hundreds of thousands. Had the calipers, had to keep the calipers on us all the time. You wouldn't think that a rubber part would matter that much, that it was a touch over or a touch under. It does. So, yeah, I've extruded a lot of rubber products. They're used all over the world for all kinds of things, from fish sinkers to, and yes, the name brand of them is Water Gremlin. They got a little piece of rubber in there. You pull that rubber, you put your line in it, and turn it loose, and it holds the line in there. If it gets hung, it'll come off. That's what it's designed for. They're about that long, though. They vary, but they're on average about that long. Made millions of miles of that stuff that you had to keep just exactly right, and exactly the same thickness, width, everything. So you had to check it, I mean, just every few minutes when you was extruding it, and you had to check it constantly while it was being cut up in little bitty pieces. So anyway, with that, I digress about that. I've had all kinds of jobs, and loved them all. I even back when I drank, I could get drinking money with a bet, and I'd drive the heisters around there, the little forklifts, little propane powered Toyota forklifts. Win drinking money by picking a nickel up off the floor and putting on the forks and lifting it. It was staying in an 8-inch circle. Yep, I could do it. Won a lot of drinking money for that. So anyway, I get to rambling and everything, get to shooting the bull, but I just thought I'd let everybody in on this one. It's going to be a gorgeous knife. Now this one right here is going to have a hamon top and bottom. Should look good. I thought it was on the ADCRV too, but it don't hamon. I was rather let down because of that. I thought it was going to be gorgeous. Well, it still is gorgeous, but I thought it was going to have a really nice hamon on it, but it didn't. So this 1084 should do great. Hopefully. Hopefully. Get this and sanded up. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Alright. Okay. I've sanded one side of this. I'm done by a long shot, but anyway, this side had little pits in it from slag on there. So anyway, it's up to a 120 grit, and I pulled it this way with an 80 grit till I got everything off of it. Now I've turned and went with a 120 grit, and I'm going on an angle, making sure that I get all my straight scratches out. Now I'll go from 120 to 150 and go the other way, down this way. Cross hatch and get all these scratches out. And I'll do the same with everything till I get to the last grit, which is 400. Then I'll go straight with it. So I've still got a bunch of grits to go. I've been sanding on this thing for a long time. Boy, if you don't get all the scale off there, it's hard it's hard to sand it because the scale's harder than the metal that it is. So anyway, I just thought I'd update a little bit and show you progress I've been making there. So hopefully I can get this in the soup this evening. I hope so. I've been on this thing nearly all day, just doing this. I had to turn the radio off. I'm sorry, but I'm not turning the air conditioning off. It's muggy here. Whew. Anyway, I'll come back in a little bit. I'm back. It's been a long day. Lord, I've been sanding, hand sanding, and doing other this and that, and trying to figure out other knives and everything. Try to get other ones ready. And I got this one out of the soup. It's a 1084 knife. The Hamon is there. It kind of modeled out here because of the clay. Evidently I didn't have enough soap in it, or it was too, or maybe had too much in it. You see the spots here in it. They were supposed to be fingers up like this right here. There's a finger up on both sides, a little one, just a little spot. So yeah. Now I hadn't sharpened this thing at all. I just took it out of the soup and wet it down and steel wooled it. First thing out of the box this morning, I cut my finger. First thing, I hadn't made one full pull on it yet with sandpaper, and it cut my finger. So anyway, let's just see. I've got a few stray arm hairs here somewhere or another. Let's just see. My granddad's trick works. It's pretty darn sharp. I don't see any obvious bad dull spots or shiny spots. I mean, excuse me. There's a little bit right there in the recurve part. Them's awful hard to get sharp anyway, believe it or not. No. Yep, it did. Just a few. And down to fine hairs. And out here toward the tip, it's kind of dull looking right in there. It's a little dull. Get a little over here in a little better light, I can see. Right in there, that belly. Well, one or two. This one was duller. I dulled it before I put it in there. Because I sanded it down to 400 grit and everything, so. And it looks like it's just come off a 40 grain belt, but it didn't. It all went to, that's what the Hamon does for you. Where it's really hard, it'll just about take out all the scratches. Where it's not hard, it'll, I don't know, it just makes it look like wood grain or something, or even though it was all the way out. Okay. Throw some more of this multi-purpose PV Blaster lubricant on it. That gray. I like soaking them, all of them, in the ferric chloride. It helps retard the rust. My knife that I carry, my personal knife that I made and carry, is also 1095. And I keep it in a leather sheath. and I oil it after I get done with the season. Clean it up, do it, and it's just as pretty today as it was when I took it out of the ferric chloride. Now, I'm not saying that they'll rust. Mine stays in the house. I don't leave it outside or anything, and I don't know how it would act if I did leave it outside. Don't know. But the ones that I leave in here after I treat them and everything like that don't rust. So anyway, oh, that's a big blade. How big is it? Right down 12 inch. Use the 15 on it. From Ricasso to tip, it is 9 5/8. 9 5/8 blade is. That's twice as big as my normal blades. I go about 4 1/2, maybe a little over 4 1/2. And yep, that's 4 1/2. What I try to shoot for, about 4 1/2. So 4 to 4 1/2 is what I shoot for, unless you want something bigger. But this right here is twice as big as my normal knife blades, lengthwise, no wider. Because I've made plenty of 2-inch wide knives. It's just 1 1/2 inches. Well, you can't see it. What did I do with it? Yeah, right there. There's 2 of them. The 80 CRV and that one. And they're just stuck in there with the weight. I just picked them up and dropped them. I didn't throw them. Just picked them up and dropped them. Let them go in this OSB board right here. And that one's staying. It stayed all night there like that. And then this one, it'll be that way when I come back tomorrow. That it will. And I've got a bunch of knives to finish getting on. I'm going to change this just a little bit. I mean, it's alright, but I'm going to change the handle shape just a little bit on it. Yep, I'm going to on this one. Check it down just a little bit in here, in this area right here, and fix it so it fits you. It curves a little bit more like this one. Now that one fits your hand good. It's curved, follows the line of your hand. Your fingers has got room to grip around it. And on these knuckles, now somebody wants it. If you get a hold of it, if you've got a hold of it, they're not getting it because of the shape. Nobody pull it away from you. So, and with this choil like that, if you have to do something like run in on a bear or something, an animal, and do a Jeremiah Johnson on it or whatever, and go for it like that with sticking and stabbing, well, you're not subject to cut yourself. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong, you can cut yourself with any knife. But this one right here, this design of handle that I make, makes it awful tough to cut yourself, yeah, or somebody to get it away from you, because it fits your hand so good. And I played with a bunch of them and tried them. I like this one the best. I like it a whole lot better than this design, even though it's basically the same thing, almost the same thing. It'll rock in your hand because it's just hitting real good in the middle here. You're having to squeeze harder with your little finger to get in tighter, where if it was out just a little bit and you squeeze down on it, you have more to hold on to. But I digress. I make what people want, except for fantasy blades. Them's about as wild a fantasy as I intend to make. these. I may make some buoys, some fighting buoys, but make a few of these little harpoon points here just for the heck of it, because that seems to be what people want right now. And so anyway, it's late. I've been out here all day long. It's probably 6:30, 7 o'clock. On the phone. There it is. 8:02. It's exactly what it is. So it's time to whiz out the fire and call in the dogs and go in the house. So till next time, it's Bobby Shields, Dogbone Knife, said, God bless.